Alright guys, in this video we are going to be changing equations into y equals mx plus b, which is the slope-intercept form, and we're going to be graphing them. It is just one extra step more than we've already been doing. Okay, it shouldn't be that difficult. I'm going to do 3 examples and then you have a few more to do on your own. Okay. Alright, so as you can see, this equation is not written in y equals mx plus b form. For it to be written in y equals mx plus b form, the y has to be by itself. If it's not by itself on one side of the equation, then it is not in slope-intercept form. So we have to move everything that is not supposed to be with the y to the other side of our equal sign. Okay, guys, you're going to have to remember your solving equations problems. Okay, so our goal is to get the y by itself. So that means I have to move everything else over to the other side of the equal sign. Now remember, when we cross the equal sign, we have to use the inverse operation. So since I need to move that positive 3x to the other side of the equal sign, I'm going to have to do the inverse, or the opposite, in order to move it. So since it was a positive 3x, in order to move it to the other side, I would need to subtract it. And remember, I can take the entire 3x to the other side since I want to move both of those things. So that cancels out over here on the left, leaving me with y. Since it's a positive y, we don't have to write the positive there. Equals, and then since I want the m and the x first, I'm going to rewrite negative 3x minus 4. Remember, guys, we can't combine these because they aren't like terms. Okay, so we just have to rewrite them. And since we want our m and our x first, we're going to write that first, and then we're going to write down the negative 4, which becomes our b value. So the new equation that we have, y equals negative 3x minus 4, is correctly written in scientific notation, slope-intercept form. This, we all know how to graph. So from that point, you're going to follow the exact same steps that we've been doing all week. You're going to follow the exact same steps that you just did on your quiz in order to finish this problem. So you need to name the type of slope. So since that number is a negative, we're going to have a negative line. Our slope is a negative 3 over 1. And our y-intercept is a negative 4. So then we're going to graph it on our line, on our graph, the exact same way. So our first point is going to be at the y-intercept at negative 4. And then because my slope's negative, I can only make one negative movement. So I'm going to go up 3. Since up is positive, I'm going to have to go to the left 1. And I'm going to have to continue that the entire length of the graph. Connect my points. And then the last thing we should be double checking is that we have a negative line going downhill, because that's what kind of slope we should have. And we do, so we are correct. As we go through these next 2 examples, make sure you take note of all of the work that has to be written for every problem. So let's do the next one. So we're kind of combining our solving equations with our graphing y equals mx plus b. So in this equation, we have y plus 2 over 3x equals a negative 5. So I know that I need to move this positive 2/3 x to the other side. Guys, you can move the entire thing at once. Since it is a positive, I'm going to subtract it to the other side, because that's the inverse or opposite operation. So I get y equals negative 2 over 3x minus 5. That is correctly written in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So then I'm ready to graph it. So my slope is negative, because that m value is a negative number. My slope is negative 2 over 3, and my y-intercept is negative 5. So I plot my y-intercept first, and then I use my slope up to left 3, up to left 3 to graph my points. And when I'm done, I want to check that I got a negative line, and I did. So I'm done. All right, one other one, and then you'll be on your own. All right, so for this problem, I'm going to move whatever is with the y, so the negative 1 over 2x. Since it's already a negative, I have to do the inverse operation. So I have to change it to a positive to move it across the equal sign. So I get y equals 1 over 2x. And then this is a positive 1, so I have to put the plus sign in there when I rewrite it. So this is the equation that you're going to graph. Guys, on every problem, it's not going to say this on your homework sheet, but you have to write down the type of slope. You are expected to write down slope equals and the slope, and you're expected to write down y-intercept and the y-intercept. And then you also have to graph it. So I should see all of this work for every single problem, even if these lines are not on the problems, because they're not going to be every time. You just have to know to do that. And when I get done, I should get a positive line. And I do. Okay? So you're going to complete the rest of the problems that are on the back. That is going to be due tomorrow. Please make sure you have all of your work shown. Okay? And make sure you use your class time wisely.